Hello friends and welcome to my channel Iballdesigningdeveloper. So have you ever had your code crash out of nowhere? Maybe a file didn't exist or you divided by zero. That's where Java exceptions come in. In Java, exceptions are powerful tools that help us handle unexpected situations without crashing the entire program. Think of them as Java's way of saying, hey, something went wrong. But here's a chance to fix it. From simple errors like null pointer exception to complex custom exceptions, Java gives us a structured way to catch problems, log them, and even recover gracefully. So in next few minutes, you will learn how to use try, catch, finally, and throw like a pro and build code that's not just smart but bulletproof as well. So ready to master the art of handling the unexpected? Let's dive into Java exceptions. So in this video, we will be understanding that what is exceptions in Java, how we use it, and what's the purpose to use it. So if you enjoy this video and if you enjoy this amazing tutorial, so remember to hit a like, and if you're new on this channel, want to see more videos like this, so remember to subscribe, and after subscribing, hit notification bell so you can get the notifications of all my videos which I will be uploading in future. So now what we are waiting for, let's move to computer screen and let's dive into it. Alright, so now we are on the computer screen, and like I've told you in the start that today in this video I will be telling you that what is exceptions in Java and how we use it. So before understanding about exceptions, we need to understand that one of the most commonly used exception in Java is try catch. We will be understanding that what is this try catch, but before understanding this try catch method, we need to understand what are exceptions in Java, or you can say why we use exceptions in Java. So if we talk about exceptions here, when executing Java code, different errors can occur. Coding errors made by the programmer, errors due to wrong input, or other unforeseeable things. When an error occurs, Java will normally stop and generate an error message. The technical term for this is Java will throw an exception, which is called a throw an error. And as I told you in the previous videos as well, like when we were just getting different errors in Java when we were running code, so we were getting different methods. Like one error can be about like the programmer error which is being made by you. The other error which you will be getting will be about like wrong input, and the other error which you will be getting about unforeseeable things. So that are the different types of error which we normally get in programming language like Java. But the most commonly you can say error which is occurred when beginners are working with Java is called exception error. What is this exception error? We will be understanding, but just understand that Java will throw an exception error when you will just do a normal error, or Java will normally stop and generate an error message, and the technical term for that error message will be exception. First of all, we need to understand that what is this try and catch which we were talking about previously. So if we talk about try and catch in Java, the try statement allows you to define a block of code to be tested for errors while it is being executed. The catch statement allows you to define a block of code to be executed if an error occurs in the try block. The try and catch keywords come in pairs. So it is just telling me about try and catch, why we use it. So if we talk about try statement, we use try statement because it allows us to define a block of code which we need to be tested for errors while it is being executed, and the catch statement we use because catch statement allows us to define a block of code to be executed if an error occurs in the try block. And the try and catch keywords come in pairs, and that's the way how we use both syntax or both statements. First of all, you need to create try statement, then curly braces, and in this try statement we will be writing the block of code which we want to be executed. And same goes to catch as well. We need to create a catch statement, but we need to create parenthesis as well when we are creating catch statement, and in that parenthesis I will be adding exception and this variable like this, and then I will be creating curly braces, and then here as well I will be writing block of code which we want to be executed with handling errors. Then if you want to consider following example, this will generate an error because my number 10 does not exist here. This is the example how we are using it, and in this example we are using an error of exception. So when you will be running this thing, you will be getting an exception error, and that will be the you can say easiest method to print exception error if you want to use it without using this try and catch statement which comes in pairs. So now moving on to this example, like if we need to understand this example, for that we need to open our NetBeans IDE here. So I will be moving on to my search bar, and here I will be opening my NetBeans IDE, because as you know in the previous videos when we were just working with Java, so we were just using NetBeans IDE, and if you are a beginner starting with language like Java, so I will prefer you to use this NetBeans IDE because it has all the features and all the things which a beginner needed when they are starting with programming language like Java. But if you are a intermediate and advanced level programmer, and if you have already used this NetBeans IDE here, so you can use some other IDs as well. Like in offline you can use Eclipse, you can use Android Studio, you can use VS Code as well. And if you want to use some online IDs, so you can just use like Replit, and you can also use Jupyter. But if you ask me that what is the best ID for Java, if you want to just consider one ID, so that will be Jupyter Notebook, because Jupyter Notebook is totally made for Java. And if you want to do programming with Java and using an online ID, so for that I think Jupyter Notebook will be best. But I will prefer you to use offline ID, because in online ID, like there are some things happening, like if our internet speed is not good, or if our internet is having some problems, so our code will be not running too much good, or you can say our file will also be not running, our libraries will be not installed which we are using, or the package as well. So we need to just take care of that things. If you have a good internet speed and all the things are working perfectly, then you can just use online ID. But in this case I am using offline ID here, because we are beginners and we need to understand that how we can use offline ID, and then moving forward in the other videos when we will be creating projects or different things, we will be using online ID for that. So this is the main.java file which we have created, and I will just use this file again. And in the other videos as well, I have used this main.java file here, like in the previous video when we were just understanding about iterator. So in that video as well, we have used this file. So I will be removing all the things from this file here, because now we have understand how we can use iterator, how we can import the package of Java util. But in this case, we will be not using any package here, because exception only occurs an error here. So we need to just see how we can just use, or you can say how we can occur this error of exception, which is called a throw error, and the technical term for an error message is exception. So moving down, this is the example how our exception error will be occurring when we will be running this example here. I will be copying this, moving on to my NetBeans ID, I will be pasting it here. Moving on, I will be running this file. You can just see I have called a main class as well, and then I am running this main class using this public void thing here. Now I will be running this by pressing right click and run file, or you can press shift and F6, which is the shortcut key to run Java file here. And after running this file, you can just see here we will be getting an exception error. You can just see we are getting an exception error, and it is saying me exception in thread main java.lang.array index out of bounds exception 10 at main.java file. So it is saying me that you are getting one exception error in your main.java file in which you are using this example, because this example is not good. If we see what's the problem in this example, that we are getting an error. So the problem is that we are creating an integer of my numbers, which is simply fine, and in this integer of my numbers we are writing three numbers 1 2 3, and then when we are printing this thing, so I want that 10 numbers should be printed. If I have printed 3 numbers, like if I have written 3 numbers in my numbers list here, so how it can print 10 numbers? That's the reason when we are running this thing, or when we are running this total example, we are getting an error, and that is an exception error. Here as well I have comment out that you will be getting an error when you will be running this thing, because we have not written values till 10, we have only written values till 3, so it will be printing values till 3, not till 10. That's the reason when we are writing 10 and running this file, so we are getting an output printed as exception error. So this is the easiest method which you can just apply if you want to print an exception error here. Moving on to my Word document again, here if I just move down, so there one note is written like array index out of bound exception occurs when you try to access an index number that does not exist. So we need to, if you are trying to access a number, if you try to access a number which is not existing in your list, like in this list there is no 10 number printed or no 10 is written, but we are accessing this 10 here and it is not printed here. So that's the reason we are getting an array index out of bound exception error, which is saying me that you are occurring a number which is not here in your list which you have created. So that's the reason we are getting an array index out of bound exception error occurred. Moving down, if an error occurs, we can use try catch to catch the error and execute some code to handle it. So now if you want to just catch that error, so you can use try catch statement for that to catch the error and to execute some handle code to it. So this is the example how we are doing it. Simply I will be copying this here. Moving on to my NetBeans ID, I will be replacing it, or you can comment out and then you can paste down, but I will be replacing it here. Then I will be running this file again by pressing right click, and you can just see now this time we are not getting any exception error. It is only printing me a text which is saying me something went wrong, because here I have written if this number is not available here in my list, so print this text which says me that something went wrong, and that's the reason it is printing me this text, because 10 is not here in my list. only 1, 2, 3. These 3 numbers are printed in my list, not any other number. That's the reason now it is printing me something went wrong, not any exception error, because we have used this catch statement to handle a code to it so that we cannot get any exception error after printing this thing. So moving on to my Word document here, there are some other example as well which you will be printing, like there is one finally statement as well which you can use. And why we use this finally statement? The finally statement lets you execute code after try catch regardless of the result. So if you want to execute your code after try and catch a statement regardless of the result, so in that case you can use finally statement. And how we can use finally statement? This is the example how we are using it, by creating a public main class. You can give any name to your class, but remember class name should be same as your file name of Java. Moving down, now when you will be printing this thing, or when you will be using this example, you will be getting an output as something went wrong, and with that you will be getting the try catch is finished. And that's the way that you will be not getting your exception error printed this time. So I hope you understand. Then moving down, there is another keyword or another statement which we use when we need to print anything, which is called throw keyword. The throw statement allows you to create a custom error. The throw statement is used together with an exception type. There are many exception types available in Java, and this is the way how we can use this throw keyword or throw statement. Again, we need to create main method or main class, and then in that main class we will be creating again different you can say integers and different variables, and using that we will be just using this throw statement here, and throw an exception. If age is below 18, print x is denied. If age is or older, print x is granted. So that's the way how we are using an exception error with different statements and different examples. Then there is another example which you can use here, is this one, which is called check age. Using this check age method, the output will be x is granted and you are old enough. So that's the way how you can just use these all things, and how you can just get rid of that exception error which we were getting previously when we were using first example. So I hope you understand how we are just using Java exceptions, how we are getting exception error, how we can remove exception error, how we can get rid of it using different examples, different statements and different keywords. So I hope you understand what is exceptions in Java and how we get that exception error, how we can get rid of it. So if you understand this video and if you enjoy this amazing tutorial, so remember to hit a like, and if you're new on this channel, want to see more videos like this, so remember to subscribe, and after subscribing, hit notification bell so you can get the notifications of all my videos which I will be uploading in future. So just I will be meeting in next tutorial or in next project using Java. So for today, goodbye.